long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
So the march up to the proxy vote on the 3rd of April is getting heavy duty with Disney reaching a settlement with the Florida lawsuit over their parks district. Both sides have dropped their lawsuits, and they're going to go back and negotiate a new agreement. Fine. Now, why did this happen? Well, this is Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. He was the head of the Freedom Caucus in the U.S. House of Representatives, and he went to Florida, became governor. And he's a conservative Catholic like I am. Okay, so he takes a very hard look at what kids are learning in schools and what kids are seeing everywhere. And when the parental rights in education bill was up for a vote, it passed both the House and Senate of the state of Florida. He signed it. The Walt Disney Company gay employees and their loser LGBTQXYZ, no one gives a shit, employees had a shit fit. Okay, they had a shit fit because it's basically what the left called this was the Don't Say Gay bill. All right, when it first came out. If you look at the Hollywood rags, they're now calling it the Parental Rights and Education Bill. So their tone has changed. Why? Because DeSantis ain't going nowhere, okay? And they realize pissing parents off and putting the disgusting shit into their TV shows and movies that really just gross people out was not helping them on the bottom line. Bob Iger did say we are a for-profit company. Okay, but let's talk about how this all happened with Disney. This gets out there. Disney starts jumping into politics, even though weeks before that, Bob Chapek said he wasn't going to get into it. And yet, they got into it. Bob Chapek is famous for the hostage video that the DEI crowd forced him to do. He also showed himself to be very weak, I think. They were allowed, this crowd of people were allowed for at least a good 2, 3, 4, 5 years to gay everything up that kids saw. Now, what people didn't understand is that Bob Iger was still at Disney, overshadowing everything. So the reason why Bob Chapek looked so weak is probably because Iger was there. Perhaps talking to the people who were viciously complaining about the Florida bill. It got to the point where moving the business headquarters to Florida was nixed because the idiots that are of that ilk at the Disney company in California think that the people of Florida are Nazis. This is how stupid they fucking are. Okay, it's like, and Bob Iger knows that that's not true. Okay, he knows that that's not true. And yet, he allowed this crap to happen under Chapek without telling the people who are doing it, you need to stop it now. You need to cut it out, okay? Stop it. Quit it. They didn't quit it. They didn't stop it. And here we are. So What exactly precipitated this? Well, Disney woke up one morning and found out that the Reedy Creek area was being confiscated by the state of Florida. That deal, the Reedy Creek Improvement Act, gave the Walt Disney Company, since 1967, that area around Reedy Creek to do with as they liked. It was a tax-free place, right, for Disney. They had their own police force, I think, fire department, emergency services, etc. They were supposed to develop a city there called Epcot, turned into part of Disney World, and the city consists of about 4 or 5 trailers. Okay, that's it. All right. State of Florida decides, because of the way they're acting, that they're going to take back Reedy Creek. This is where all the lawsuits started. Florida sues Disney, Disney sues Florida. Now they're back at the negotiating table. Again, one of Bob Iger's great talents is to get people to stop and negotiate. Okay, but let's talk further.
I'd heard things like, oh, they won't let you show this at a Disney show. And I'm like, okay. So I was a little like sus when I started. But then my experience was bafflingly the opposite of what I had heard on my little pocket of Proud Family Disney TVA. The showrunners were super welcoming. Meredith Roberts and our leadership over there has been so welcoming to my not at all secret gay agenda. And so I feel like I felt like it was, maybe it was that way in the past, but I guess something must have happened in the last they're turning it around, they're going hard. And then all that momentum that I felt, that sense of I don't have to be afraid to let's have these two characters kiss, let's in the background I was just wherever I could, just basically adding queerness to if you see anything queer in the show, I'm Proud Family. But I just was no one would stop me, and no one was trying to stop me.
Yeah, I've had the privilege of working with the Moon Girl team for the last 2 years, and they've been really open to exploring queer stories. And I'm on the production side. Part of the work that I feel like I can put in is making sure that we take place in modern day New York. So making sure that that's an accurate reflection of New York. So I put together a tracker of our background characters to make sure that we have the full breadth of expression. And we got into a very similar conversation, Carrie, of oh, all of our gender nonconforming characters are in the background. And so it's not just a numbers game of how many LGBTQ plus characters you have. We got the further, the more centered a story is on a character, the more nuanced you get into their story. And especially with trans characters, you can't see if someone is trans. There's not one way to look trans. And so kind of the only way to have these canonical trans characters, canonical asexual characters, canonical bisexual characters is to give them stories where they can be their whole self.
Really, why don't you fuck off? How about that?
Thanks, thank you very much.
So sorry the reimagined videos were so long. I did think about trimming them, but you had to hear the whole thing. That is the reason why Ron DeSantis in the state of Florida sued the Walt Disney Company for taking over Reedy Creek, is because of this crap. Because the Walt Disney Company needed a lesson in what family-friendly entertainment is. I'm sorry, but having that female, LaToya Raveno, bragging about gaying shit up is not going to get parents to want to have their kids watch Disney Plus. This led to a lot of cancellations in Disney Plus. Okay? The Walt Disney Company, because of this, has lost a lot of cachet. Bob Iger knows that. Okay? So now they're back to the negotiating table. There's going to come up with a new agreement for Reedy Creek. It probably won't be the same that Roy Disney got from the state of Florida back in 1967. But the Walt Disney Company learn its lesson. I think Bob Iger did, because he's willing to talk it out with Ron DeSantis. Between all of us, if anybody thinks that the Walt Disney Company didn't have backdoor channels to the governor's mansion in Tallahassee, you guys are smoking some fine-ass shit. Even the United States president could call the premier of Russia anytime he wanted at the height of the Cold War. Okay? All right, that's... For people to think that they weren't talking is stupid. But, again, we have issues with Disney. We've got The Acolyte coming up. We've got the showrunner unable to keep her fucking mouth shut for less than 5.5 seconds. Okay, Disney still has problems with this woke crap. Kathleen Kennedy was no way going to stop with The Acolyte because she was right, everybody else is wrong, and we all just got to kiss her ass. Okay. That is the problem here. This is a problem that is going to be leading into the proxy vote. Okay. And this is why this negotiation and this deal and dropping of all lawsuits is happening. All right. This is the last minute, a Bob Iger move. Is it desperate? I don't know. But I've got more news for you guys coming up. This is Steph, signing out. I'll see you around the galaxy.